Back on the End Zone, presented by TiVo, alongside my partner Ian Eagle. I'm Jason Horowitz here in New York. Randy Cross with us in Atlanta each week on CBSSports.com and on your TiVo DVR via TiVo Cast. And, it's not often we get a team versus team, split the city in half. Of course, heading into Week 5, I'm talking about the LA Rams and the LA Raiders. No, I'm sorry, the Jets and Giants are playing each other, and Randy is calling that game, so we'll get into this a little bit. And, Randy, you're in Atlanta. Does anybody else around this part of the country that we're up in, does anybody else care about this game?
I don't know. Just go to your local papers up there in New York today. I think you'd have to lick your fingers and go pretty deep somewhere behind the racing tout sheet to find anything about the Jets and the Giants. It's all about baseball, which for these two teams is probably absolutely perfect because the Giants at 2-2 come off a great game. And the Jets, in a contrast, are at 1-3, and they're coming off a game that had to be pretty embarrassing to them to go up to Buffalo against a rookie quarterback and get beat.
Yeah, Randy's right. This has not made much of an impact here in the New York sports scene over the course of this week with baseball taking center stage. And it is a very important game for both teams. We know that the Giants are trying to build on what happened last week with Philadelphia. Tremendous defensive game plan in handling the Eagles. And the Jets, it looked to be a recipe for success. They were going against the last-ranked offense, last-ranked defense, a rookie quarterback, and a team decimated by injuries, and they lose to the Buffalo Bills. For the Jets, no vertical threat downfield. That, to me, is what stands out more than anything else. Everything for Chad Pennington is checkoffs, short. Running game was not effective last week against Buffalo. And for Pennington, while the numbers may look good, they don't have big play capabilities.
And in 3 games so far this season, of his passes that he has thrown, only 2 have traveled in the air more than 20 yards.
Oh, it's all yards after catch.
But the topic
here,
though,
if you don't like that, you're going to hate this game because against this pass rush, he better get that ball out short and sweet.
Well, but then here's the question, though, because we saw OCU Manura last week just dominate Winston Justice. And I
thought that was Deacon Jones. My goodness.
Everyone's saying punch his ticket to the Hall of Fame already. But, OCU, against Winston Justice, and they talked about how he needed help. He's going up against Brickishaw Ferguson in this game. And let's be honest, the 4th overall pick from last year's draft has struggled at times this season, has not shown the constant improvement that the Jets are hoping for.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, I think, for that offensive line to kind of find their personality for the Jets, especially that left side, because last year you had Pete Kendall at that left guard position kind of holding the 2 rookies together. And they were both, granted, very smart, very sharp kids that were very talented. But without Kendall in there just seems to be a little something missing from that football team. I think if you put your finger on one thing, is they're just not right now a very physical, kind of an edgy offense. I think that they reflect a lot of the personality of the quarterback. I believe it's a team that will outthink you. It's a team that will try to do a lot of different things. But at this point, even with Thomas Jones back there, they're just not a team that's going to come up and smack you in the mouth.
Yeah, they're 28th in rushing, even with Thomas Jones. The one positive for the fact that the offense hasn't been very good is that it's taken some of the heat off the defense, which also hasn't been very good. And now they face some deep threats because they certainly, New York, will throw the ball down the field with Plaxico Burress, Jeremy Shockey will get down the field. So it's a completely different situation. And now on top of having Derek Ward, who was playing very well for the Giants, formerly of the Jets, trying to stick it to his old front office, you get Brandon Jacobs back as well for this game. So it's a whole different situation here.
You know what, guys? Give the Giants some credit.
It's a classic trap game.
Yeah.
It really is for the Giants.
But give them some credit.
Coming off the last 6 quarters.
You know what? They've dealt with a lot of soap opera type issues through the first quarter of the season.
Certainly.
And we know that Tom Coughlin, if he's not a lame duck coach, he's about as close to being a lame duck coach as you'll find at this level. I think they've handled it pretty well, though. And defensively, with all the criticism that they took through the first 2 weeks, they've bounced back nicely. The pass rush is happening. We know that's not happening for the Jets. They have absolutely no pass rush. The Giants last week did look like a legitimate defense, maybe for the first time all season. And offensively, maybe it's never pretty for Eli Manning, but if you look at his numbers, it is effective.
Highly successful, but it has not been. Maybe some various looks. Defense for New York will get this game because this deep player to me for the Giants in this, he's the critical.
Deserves, certainly. Than the NFL than anybody.
Then he
takes more scrutiny around.
The guy wins more games.
New York will throw the ball down. because they certainly
how they look and where they drop. It's a tough time as far as how they do give quarterbacks this ball in jeopardy a couple times in this game.
You know, you talked about the defense. It's been Steve Spagnuolo coming over from the Eagles, and it's been an adjustment period, but they certainly have looked better, unlike the Jets, as the season has gone on. Randy, enjoy that. We'll see you in New York on CBS, and we'll talk to you very soon, folks. The End Zone, presented by TiVo, continues on CBSSports.com, always on demand, and on your TiVo DVR via TiVo Cast. We'll catch up with you very soon, folks.